Ladies and gentlemen, do not be confused. This is not Kayfabe Commentaries. This is not KC Shoot. This is not Click This. This is Todd is Pod here on podcasteatwrestling.com. And we're joined today by Sean Oliver. First, Todd, how you doing today?
Thank you. I mean, it is my fucking show. Thank you. Welcome, Sean. Pleasure.
This is deja vu for me, because for anyone who doesn't, is this part of the gimmick? Everyone has a drink.
It's Extreme Cocktail Hour.
Is this the thing? Okay, so I'll open a lit aid. Click this version.
Hold on. Leave it up there. There it is.
I'll be drinking the Kev's Key Lime for this broadcast. Of course, available at get-blitzed.com. The code ClickKLIQ will get you 15% off. Only because you asked, Derek.
Thank you.
Now, for people who don't know, that Todd and I did about 50 hours or so of 60 hours, maybe of this very thing here to make the book that's behind me here. So, and I do have to say that at a certain point you stop because it's time to edit the book and to give it to the publisher. And there was an absence of the immature musings that we would always have, and just an excuse to be an absolute asshole for 2 hours. A lot of it was work. And out of that work, we extracted, 300 pages for a book. But a lot of it was like the writer's room at the Sid Caesar show or something, us trying to crack each other up, and even just taking a scene in the book and tweaking it and having Todd say, "No, draw that out more. It's not funny enough when Sandman lifts the carpet. You got to have me going crazy." And then, all right, and then I would write a line and pop Todd, and he would do the where you think maybe you need a medic, and that's what the writing process was. It was less writing than it was us just milking stories to their fullest, and then that's what I would put down on paper once we got it to the point where it felt sufficiently juvenile and sophomoric.
Because my whole audience may or may not know you, but for those who don't, can you just give them a little bit of a background of what your background is, with how many books you've written, how many TV shows you've been on, how many voiceovers you've done, just a little bit.
That's
enough. Anyway, Derek.
So I was going to say, so I'm not doing the interview here. I really thought that I would be taking over. One of the two of you is superfluous with me here. I'll interview Derek or you. Just pick one.
No, seriously, tell them a little bit of your history. Honestly.
Well, in wrestling,
Period. You're an author. How many books?
I've written 10. There are 7 currently in release. That'll change. I have to lift my computer on September 9th when Monkey Morales hits bookstores. I think that'll be 9. I don't know, Todd. I think you were 8.
What about the clowns?
Or 7. Oh, right, the Insane Clown Posse, Unaccepted, soon to be available this month. So that was 7, and this is, I don't know, 8. And there's 2 novels sitting on our agent's computer, which I guess are just marinating, and at the right time, those will be sold. So yeah, I've written a bunch of books.
And did you play a dead body on SVU?
No, I was the tech rolling the dead body, and going through the pockets. No, actually, that's when I quit the acting business. This is actually a true story. In the same month, I booked 2 shows. I booked a show called Conviction, which was a Dick Wolf series that was they were doing a 7 episode mid-season replacement, and I got a great part on that. And then, like that same month, I booked SVU, maybe it was. I did 2 Law and Orders on camera. Then there was another one where I was going to be the crime scene tech. I get a call from my agent on the same day where they told me, Your scene from Conviction was great. They were going a little too long. They cut it, buddy. I said, well, at least I have the shoot next month for SVU. They were like, you know what? They edited the script on that too, kiddo. And I said, you know what? I'm fucking done. I had been doing the voice work in films and TV up till that point. I said, I don't need the on-camera heartache anymore. I still get the voice stuff. I don't have to be on same pay as if you're in the thing, literally. But to go in a studio and do it and record it, as opposed to sit in makeup all day in a trailer, which is not unlike a prison cell, and worry about my waistline and my hairline, fuck that. Let me make wrestling videos instead. Somewhere along the line, that came into the picture, and Kayfabe Commentaries was born. The shoot interview company that revolutionized that industry and gave the WWE. Shoot interviews existed before us. It was mostly a head on a platter with questions being shouted from off camera, and maybe you heard them, maybe you didn't. But so coming from the entertainment side of it, I said, why can't these be lit and mic'd, and we have an on-camera interview, and it looks like a real interview? And then we added some format to it, guest booker, where we had bookers come on and book things in wrestling that they weren't responsible for. Timeline, which Todd was on, Timeline, the history of first WWE, then WCW, then we did the ECW spinoff. Todd covered the years 92 and 93 because we wanted the inception of the company. So we did that, and the rest.
That's how we met, by the way.
We did. We did that. I called him out of the blue at the shop at Carver Reed, and I gave him the pitch, and we talked on the phone. We had a good conversation, and we booked the arena. I think it was 2300 Arena at the time. I don't know what it is now.
I think it was a New Alhambra at the time.
We were in Hamburg?
No,
New Alhambra.
Stuttgart? Whatever it was. So we shot that, and spending the day with Todd, I knew instantly that we were cut from the same cloth. It didn't take very long. It was about 407 degrees inside the arena at the time, and I had a platform erected, and we were sitting on the platform so that the whole arena was behind us, and his banner, his gimmick banner for, I don't know, the WWE Hall of Fame, whatever it was up there, because Todd is God. So we shoot this, and we're sweating like farm animals now. So we're taking copious breaks. Todd says so he could loosen his collar. He's smoking outside like a banshee.
And Todd's in a suit too.
Yeah, and we're peeling layers off eventually. And so I think by the end of it, he asks, if there's going to be hazard pay, and so he leaves, and there was just a kind of a chemistry and a kismet. I think it came through on camera a little bit. It didn't take long before we were being jocular with each other. And then so I missed the old fuck. So I said, listen, why don't we hang out again? And we have a series called You Shoot. Why don't we have the fans ask you questions, and we'll have some fun with that? And we
unfortunately, it didn't occur to me to see one of them first.
No.
Had I done that, that never would have happened.
Yeah, we don't do that. This is called
Smart.
the Eric Sims way of doing business. We tell you as little as possible before you take the gig.
Just show up. It'll be fine.
That's it.
And sign these 100 pictures before you leave for future reference.
Yeah.
I didn't do that. That's an Eric reference. I
Yeah.
would never do that. I was always on the level. So we do the You Shoot, and so Todd's at the resort there for the day and night. I'm shooting Tully Blanchard that night. Tully's kind of a serious cat, if you didn't know.
He's done Tully, right? Tell him.
Okay, so you worked with Tully, so you know the deal.
He falls asleep too.
Don't do that.
I got along with him great, but so I take him to dinner. So I always like to spend some. If I haven't worked with talent before, I think it's invaluable to spend time before the red light goes on. You want to engender.
Never got a dinner.
Didn't need it.
I'm like Red Buttons. I never got a dinner.
I did. You might not have. We broke bread together at the museum, didn't we?
Way after my shoot interviews.
That's true.
He had to butter you up.
So I'm with Tully in the restaurant in the hotel. And much like the devil's imp, I see Todd waddling into here, and I'm like, oh, God, here we go. So he sits at the end of the bar, which is in my eyesight, but Tully's facing me, so he can't see. So it's my entire crew, me and Tully. And I'm talking about either what we're going to do or whatever. There's a famous night in ECW. And this story, by the way, is recounted in the pages of Todd is God. Which everyone who hasn't gotten it has no excuse and should. So there was a famous night in ECW when Todd brought Tully in, and the audience, in their displeasure for mainstream established wrestling, stood up and turned their back on Tully.
Yes.
Todd is sitting at the end of the bar drinking his vodka martini and pointing to his phone. He's going like this. So I'm kind of casually, I'm sitting with Tully, and I take the phone, and now prior to me checking the phone, Todd had walked around to some tables in the restaurant. I thought he was taking orders. The diamonds weren't doing well at the time. Gold was down. So I thought maybe he was looking for an alternate career and he was taking some orders. He texts me that he's told the room to stand up and turn their back on Tully when I leave with him. I'm paying the check when I read this. So I begin to stall to try and figure out how to handle this.
Shoot or work.
I'm pretending that I'm looking for my stuff. Now he's working me. I have no idea. And he's doubled over on the bar. Now he's alone. So anyone who doesn't know what's going on, which means everybody else in the restaurant, thinks he's wandered in from the PATH train off the station and he needs to be committed. He's doubled over. He's leaning on the bar, hysterical, as he's watching me fuss with things to stall having to walk out because I'm considering how to do this. I'm not proud. I'll happily throw this to my crew and scamper out to the bathroom first, which was the plan, to say, I got to take a piss. I'll meet you guys all back. Everything's paid for, and leave. So, but Tully sees me stand and takes my cue and gets up and starts to walk. And I'm just going like this. I want to stay sufficiently behind him so that I'm not in arm's reach. Nothing happened. Todd talks to nobody.
I went table to table. I said, hey, having a good time? Good. I walked around like I was the host.
Right.
Just to freak him out.
But he booked it properly because I saw that first.
You got to build it. For it to work, it has to be built brick by brick. Come on.
So what did I expect was going to happen when we started writing together?
Right.
What these sessions were going to be like. So,
that's
the history of me and Todd. What's that?
What was your favorite part of writing the book?
The huge checks that began to roll in almost immediately is always the best part. No, the process. I really do believe that as an artist, can I say that in a wrestling interview? Maybe I can, maybe I can't.
You can.
In any kind of art, you have got to love the process, because if you become result-oriented, you're going to be heartbroken far too often, whether it's because of box office or sales or publicity,
money,
how much someone gets behind it. So you really have to love the process. And Todd's book, I didn't have to psych myself up to do that. I often have to remind myself, find love in the process, man, because it's getting hard. I naturally loved the process working with him. Actually, I have to double back for a second. Before writing the book with him, I wrote my first book, Kayfabe, in 2017.
Great book.
And I don't know why I thought he would have liked it, or he showed some interest. So I started sharing. I would write every night, and I shared the file in Drive with him. So
once my child showed me how to open that.
Right, exactly. And he would read it, and he would call me the next day, or he'd send me a text, and he really read the whole thing as I was writing it in real time. And not to put him over here, if you could mute him, that would be helpful. That kind of touched me in a way that, like, this, how many workers are here for the payday, right? Like, they show a cursory interest in me, and they suck my Kayfabe Commentaries cock enough such that the job is done and we all move on. No one was paying Todd to do this. He read this book and would say, "Oh my God, that's a great story," and I guess gave me feedback that I ignored. And he read the book, and like that showed me that he had an interest, first of all, before me, in telling wrestling stories. And that's when I started to say to him, "Well, when are you doing a book?" And he was he didn't want to, and he consistently put it off. And we got real close. We got real close once, and I was going to go down to Philly. I guess I hadn't discovered Zoom yet. I was going to go down to Philly, and we would spend some time and talk about it. And his sister got tragically ill, and he said, I need to take some time to take care of her. And we left the idea where it was. And then, Todd, was it a year or two later?
A year and a half, yeah.
Yeah, you came back and said, I think I'm ready to tell the story. And I think...
And honestly, my sister, who did pass, always kept encouraging me, saying, "Please do the book. Tell your fucking story. Do it." And after she passed, it took me a while to even be able to do anything. And then, yeah, I said, okay.
Sean, what was one thing that Todd told you during this process of the book that either surprised you, shocked you, or was one of those intimate stories that you were like, "Man, how has no one ever heard this before?"
That despite the level of star that was in ECW, or that was hanging with Todd, or how over any of the talent were, when Todd was present after the matches at the Travelodge, he always climbed on the rat first.
Right.
Because he was the boss.
Right.
And nobody had issue with that. Now, I understand why you wouldn't want to follow Scorpio. You'd have to strap a board across your ass so you didn't fall in. But they always let Todd plow first, which I thought was remarkable.
It's a level of respect that's hard to get.
You earn that level
100%.
of respect.
And it's not just because he paid him either.
Yeah, I can't see, Lee Iacocca always being allowed to go first. I would think that some of the guys in the plant would have taken it for... No, Todd, they gave him Todd Blanche.
Oh, that's a T-shirt if I've ever heard one. I got to ask you, Sean, because this popped up in my feed last night. The Scorpio Sandman story is my favorite story of Sandman talking about Scorpio smacking the woman in the face with the infamous chant, "Todd is God."
Yes, and that was told on Sandman's U-Shoot. If I'm not mistaken, Sandman had already fallen out of the chair.
Yes.
And was on the floor amid the production devices telling the story from the floor. Wasn't the first time it was told to me, though. New Jack, I think, preceded. Oh, I think New Jack did.
No, you confirmed it with New Jack.
Okay, thank you very much. Somebody who knows my body of work better than I.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so it was Sandman told it first, and then we showed it to Jack, and he confirmed it.
What level do you have to be at for that to happen with two grown adults and Scorpio making sure that he's saying that Todd is God? It's almost like someone goes on TV and proclaims himself to be a God recently.
Listen.
Oh, do you know the story, by the way? Are you aware of what happened 2 weeks ago on Monday Night Raw here in Philly? My former partner came to the ring and exclaimed that it's Philly, and in Philadelphia, he is God.
Yes, I saw it, and you texted me about it, and I told you an old adage that I learned in business. I don't remember where. Think of the old Revolutionary War times. We got a line of soldiers with the muskets.
Yep.
Load, aim, fire, advance.
Yes.
Load as a line. Now, eventually, the two lines, one is going to have to begin to retreat because they're losing too many men.
Of course.
And when they hunker down, they can only respond in between the advancing army's shots. If you're responding, you're bunkered down. And what I saw on television in Philly is someone bunkered down in that town, maybe not in Butte, Montana, maybe not in Seattle, Washington, but in that town, he had to hunker down and respond to the fire.
Agreed.
That exists, called the chant, the phrase. It's beyond. It outlives its origin. Todd is God.
When I think of Todd as God and having to proclaim yourself, Todd never called himself that, did he?
No, that was a fan chant because the ECW fans were smart, number one, and two, were respected for being smart by the bookers. It's one of the things I always talk about ECW. They go, because they're innovative with the violence. Yes, bloodthirsty 25-year-old me loved to watch that, but I loved to laugh at Sign Guy Dudley. I loved to watch Malenko and Guerrero for 20 minutes. I loved all that. But I knew the people making the decisions were booking for me.
Yep. There was never an insult of intelligence as a fan.
No. And the fans were so smart in that building. Yeah, they chanted ECW, but they chanted Todd is God because they knew who was pulling those strings.
Who made the determination?
It's organic.
Yes. Not forced or not a promo line or a top heel trying to cut a babyface promo.
I love that we're talking about him like he's dead. He's not even in the room.
Like Dreamer?
It's me and you, and he's just listening to us lather his testicles.
Yeah.
Please
the late
continue.
great,
It's like
the late
Albert
great
Brooks.
Tommy Dreamer.
Albert Brooks wanted to have his funeral, be at his own funeral, and Curb Your Enthusiasm. That's me. I'm Albert Brooks, and they're watching my funeral.
Right.
Anyway, I will tell you that last week I opened the show. I thought it was important that I open it by addressing the elephant in the room, or in the ring, as it were.
Well done.
Thank you, sir.
I couldn't remember. I
I
couldn't remember the name of the Batman penguin, but I think I remember now. Oliver Copperbottom.
That image also conjured up in the book when Paul comes up to knock on Todd's door, and Todd presently has a submissive tied to the leg of a table.
Yep.
And Paul walks in, certainly not expecting that, but sees it and scampers out of the room and waddles like the Burgess Meredith penguin character down the hallway in fear.
And you can get Todd is God at all bookstores, online, Amazon.com. Todd's social media has it. Where did the termination of naming it Todd is God come from?
I was against that.
I wanted it. He didn't. And I said, excuse me, how many people that you know had a fucking chant that 1,000 people would do every night without being told to?
It's true.
And it's like it's part of your brand. You have to call it that. And I was kind of unrelenting with that, and he fortunately capitulated.
Did he have any say in the matter, to be honest?
I probably would have just done a last-minute switch with the publisher at the end anyway.
Well, Todd did tell a story last week on a Terry Funk episode about how Terry Funk wrote the foreword to his book and that he did not feel comfortable reaching out to Terry, and you did. Can you tell us about that?
Terry was in a home, right? He was being cared for at the time. And I texted him, called him. I can't remember my first outreach, but there were a couple of calls before we decided when he would be able to give me the time to talk about it. And I conducted it like this, Derek. I conducted it like an interview. I didn't want to give him an assignment. I just wanted to talk to him. And in that discussion came the foreword, which I have on tape. and I cherish because
Wow.
it had to be. It was never released, but it had to be one of the last times Funk was recorded talking about wrestling. I would never release it. It was for the use of the book only, but it's a cherished piece. And my favorite. I know you did a Terry Funk show, so can I throw in a Terry Funk story?
Absolutely not.
It's both a favorite Terry Funk. You know I'm going to do it anyway, so it's good that you said that. It's both a favorite Terry Funk story and one of my favorite Sabu stories. And if you find the Sabu Breaking Kayfabe edition of the Kayfabe Commentaries online, we put it up when he passed. I recount this for him, and he remembered it and he laughed. I always got on with Sabu so well, and people talked about him being different. He always took to me, and I don't know why.
Because you treated him with respect. That was his always his biggest thing.
Not a bullshit respect. Like it's talk to him like a person.
Yep.
I don't know. Anyway, so we're doing the roast of Terry Funk, Ring Roasts 2. And one thing I learned with wrestling roasts, they're still doing them, by the way, but wrestling fans like comedy, and they like wrestling. They don't like comedy about wrestling.
No.
So
serious business.
So it's coming up in a few months, and we saw that Terry was going to be somewhere in Pennsylvania, which is near enough to me to get me off the couch. And I said, let's load up. Let's shoot some promos for the upcoming roast of Terry Funk. We'll throw names out. We'll have Terry respond, and just some promos for the thing. Okay. So he was pretty booked. He only had time for us at like 9 a.m. So we were going to meet. We were going to go across from the Red Roof Inn to the Denny's, and then I was going to set up in a room with a green screen and shoot the promos. We pull into the lot. We're walking, knock on Terry's door. We're walking through the lot of the Red Roof Inn to go to the Denny's for some breakfast. A car, so it's like 8:30 in the morning, swings into the gravel lot, kicking up rocks, drives to a skid in front of us. I thought we were being busted, but I didn't do anything illegal.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Out of this car at 8:30 in the morning pours Pee-wee, Sabu, and I don't even remember who else. There were others. So Sabu, I thought they were all going to just hang with Terry. Sabu runs over to me, concerned, at 8:30 in the morning. Hey, I just shot a U-shoot with him a couple of weeks ago. He's like, hey, the stuff I said about Terry, about Kurt Angle, you can cut it out of the film before you do it. I said, Sabu, it's been out for about a month and a half. He goes, oh, fuck. All right, well then, don't worry about it. And get back in the car and they leave. Also at that roast. Now a roast, some people don't know what a roast is. You're supposed to be skewering the person, the person on the dais, the man of honor or the woman of honor.
And then showering with love.
Yeah, you close with something lovely, but you should be giving it to him, and the shrapnel should be hitting everyone on the dais, which is why we had Missy Hyatt on there. So, superstar Billy Graham arrives to the resort that morning and lets it be known that he has painted a portrait of Terry Funk. And he would like to give it to him on the dais that night. Now, he clearly doesn't know what a roast is, but we're not going to do that. But so James, the co-promoter of the event with us, when we picked up Terry, or we were eating with Terry, he's like, Terry, I got to tell you, I got to prepare you for this. Billy Graham did a painting of you, and he's going to give it to you on camera. And Terry goes, in Terry's inimitable way, well, I'm going to need to see that now so he doesn't see me laughing at it. When the cameras are rolling, I can laugh now. And we showed it to him beforehand. So his manufactured reaction to the painting was lovely.
Always a worker.
Always a worker.
Okay, Derek, my turn. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Finish your promo.
No, I just every once in a while I want to hold it up to remind everyone that Todd's favorite book is also available on the wherever books are sold.
He's saying that because I told him not to release that book.
He really did.
I really did.
Really did. And I thought it was my finest, where I thought maybe a touch of decency could be added to the pro wrestling product. I talked to a bunch of people who were fathers of children. That's how it works. You're usually a father of a child, not of a cat. And how it was working on the road while trying to be a good father. Talked to a couple of the children, like Bam Bam Bigelow's son, and Todd's going, Sean, this is great for you. They want stories. They just want stories. So go ahead. You wanted to ask me a question.
No, I was going to tell you the last show we did, out of nowhere, and it took me by surprise, Devious Derek over here says, I want to ask you one more question before we're done. I said, what's that? He goes, who smokes more pot, you or Kevin Nash? I have no idea where that came from. And I never met Kevin Nash.
No, I mean, but you know, there's Nash on the road with the Click. There's Nash today, so there's different permutations of Nash. I will say, for the record, and this is all I can say, I have never been in the presence of Kevin Nash when he's consumed anything of an intoxicating nature that was not a red wine.
Really?
That's all I can say. I cannot say the same for the person.
So the answer is Todd.
So again, I don't, only what I've seen.
So Derek, why did you ask that question? Is what I'm asking.
Because Kevin has a CBD line.
So does Sean.
Well, Sean has a liquid line.
Same thing.
Well, the question was smoke, though, right? The question was. We got a boatload. We have a new advertiser called IndaCloud, and they just dumped. I got a box of gummies and pre-rolls, and I've already ripped through the sleep gummies. They're heavenly. But I never know what's coming in the mail. That's doing these shows. When you have a lot of advertisers, you never know what's coming in the mail. There's the wallets, and I got a gun.
What about the people from the dick pill place that got you started?
Oh, Blue Chew.
Yeah.
Listen, they made a stiff proposition. Listen, every man enters a room dick first, so you should always make a good first impression.
100%. All right, so now that Todd asked his question, I'm going to continue on with the questions. My question to you
I'm sorry.
is...
I keep getting confused and thinking this is my fucking show. Please forgive me, Derek. By all means, carry on.
So I got to ask you, Sean.
Because D-Lo's coming up next.
No, D-Lo's Tuesday. Sean, my question for you is, did you know you would be naming this podcast?
So, no. Well, yes and no. So, my engineer in the for Click This, my producer engineer Steve, I hadn't been talking to him. I knew Todd was going to be doing a podcast, so I guess the first episode came out. So Steve takes a screenshot and he sends it to me. He goes, "Oh my God!" I said, "Yeah." I said, "It's Todd's podcast." He said, "Yeah, but I have all the files named." So at the prospect of me and Todd doing a show, Steve had built files and folders called Todd is God on his computer. I said, "Steve, it's legit." I told Derek, run with it. It's the only thing you can call this. I wouldn't be, whether I'm a part of it or not, I wouldn't be happy sitting by letting a friend of mine do his podcast if he didn't have that great, brilliant name that I came up with. I wouldn't be able to sleep at night.
See, I always give you credit for what you get credit for.
What else?
I don't have a chant, though.
Well, you do, but we don't say it out loud.
Probably. Off camera.
It's your family and I have that chant. That's right.
I got one of the things I wanted to ask you
is there any cream that sufficiently handles the I lost some weight, the lines in the neck, I just feel like everything's a gimmick. Nothing gets that. It's... What's that?
Turtlenecks.
I cover it.
Oh, just, yeah.
Turtlenecks. Yeah, look how young you look now. Oh, my God.
I just had a meeting with someone famous who I was asking the age of someone. He's like, he's about your age. He's probably about 35. So I said, well, thank you. I said, this is not the skin of a 52-year-old man. I'll grant you that.
Did I send you the picture Derek, me and him.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's going to be the logo.
Put that in the show.
Oh yeah, it'll be.
Another Waldorf.
We were honored, Derek. Let me tell you what it's like, because I know you can't sell this in front of Todd, but you can internalize and think about it tonight when the cameras are off. The cantankerousness of Tod Gordon. So I get. So again, we're talking wrestling, right? Now somehow, my life in the arts and wrestling, there is a crossroad. They never run in tandem, but there's occasionally crossroads that I need for my own soul as an artist to imbibe. I was a film and television actor for 25 years or whatever, and writing, and so, but then there's wrestling, right? And it's always been like the bastard child. So, but occasionally it intersects, and I need to embrace these moments. The Museum of the Moving Image in New York City. So let me just give the subtext to anyone who may not understand. A museum of film and television in the capital of the world, New York City, wanted me and Todd to come do a signing in the gift shop. They were going to stock the book in the irreverent TV section or something like that, and then we were going to do a presentation before a screening of Beyond the Mat for their Disreputable Cinema series.
Disreputable?
Yes, Disreputable Cinema, and then
a guest.
So I said, this is phenomenal to have a museum in New York City deem me and my partner both disreputable and counterculture TV section. That's where the book was. Both counterculture, the same city that birthed Lou Reed and Blondie. Yes, is considering us disreputable and counterculture.
ECW.
Took everything in my power not to have this tattooed on my arm.
I'm sure.
Todd, how great is this? Then begin the phone calls and texts. How long am I going to have to stay? I said, well, Todd, I mean, the signing is about an hour and a half. You meet the fans, you sign the book, you take some ECW type pictures, and then we do a half-hour stage show on the main stage. They have a theater there, and then they run the show behind us. Fine. Then I really don't want to be driving back in the dark. Can they change the start time? I said, Todd, it's a museum. We're not booking the VFW Lodge. Like, I have to get a driver at my own expense now. Okay, Todd, that's what we have to do. Meet me for dinner. My wife was there. My daughter came. We had a lovely. It was we had a nice meal at the Kaufman Astoria Movie Studios. Todd, they didn't have I didn't order him the right vodka martini. There was a problem with the drink that I ordered him. So then we go to the signing, and he leans over to me during the sign. He goes, we got the show after this. I said, yeah, we're going to do a stage show. Don't worry, I'll carry it. We're going to be great. We just do what we always do, He's like, all right, I'm going to leave right after that. So just don't tell anyone I'm not there for the movie. And then if you do a meet and greet after the movie, tell them I had a great night and, see you guys at the matches kind of thing. That was my one-time headlining at a New York City museum in my life. Oh. Not unlike every night, Wednesday night's recording, I suspect, Derek.
Let me ask you that question then. What have you thought of Todd as Pod so far?
Yeah, when he watches one, I'll let you know.
All right, so first of all, I don't know if you can, if we could find a less flattering angle than his Cox POV up to his face, then we can maybe work on that to find I like that we're going with no microphone now, as if he wasn't unintelligible enough. We're now not going to have a microphone. Who's producing this?
I am.
Wesley.
is he in the room? Wes, is he here? Oh
No, he comes after.
Oh, all right. He comes after, like when Todd's at the Travel Lodge, where
Yep.
Wes would have to come after. So, listen, I'm going to be biased. I love Todd. I love the whole ECW gaggle of folks, from Fonzie to listen. When is Francine not pleasant to look at and listen to, but beyond the superficial, she's smart and she's funny. So
Yes.
all the guests that he's had on have been great. Year 3 becomes the challenge, as I am 165 episodes into Click This. But we took that pressure off by not having guests.
Yeah.
Derek, we did some guests early on for the Patreon for the subscribers.
ClickThis.tv.
Yeah, but Kev, yes, thank you, ClickThisTV.com. But Kev always said, like, they gotta love us. So I took Kev's lead on that. But so of course I enjoy it. What am I gonna say? I think that, first of all, to be serious for a moment, if that's possible,
Lance Storm.
what's needed more is Todd's voice. Others got to write the narrative of ECW, and I'm not only talking about Connecticut, I'm talking about workers with a short memory who maybe, I don't know, got their start in New York. But Todd needs his narrative to be told, and that's why this was such a passion project for me, especially the more I would hear. I didn't know all of it. And so hearing how the company was allowed to flounder as this guy was up, day and night trying to finance it, and being told X, Y, and Z that this would happen and this would happen, because it was deliberately programmed to sink so it could be resurrected without him, was infuriating. And then when I got the bankruptcy papers from HHG Incorporated, and when you file for bankruptcy, you have to list all your creditors, everyone to whom you owe money. And right on there is $500,000 to World Wrestling Entertainment. If anyone needed any independent proof about anything they might have read, so having that in hand, I was like, son of a bitch. That's why I wanted to go to the rooftops and shout the proper, accurate ECW narrative, which I hope more and more fans. I would tell Todd all the time when he would ask me about sales numbers in the book. I said, listen, this is evergreen. Wrestling fans, ECW fans are evergreen. They're going to be reading this for 20, 30 years.
Yep.
So I hope that there is that, slow as it may be compared to the monster television production in Connecticut, whatever means we have, what we're sitting on here live, what's behind me, and wherever else, smoke signals, that more and more people get that alternative narrative, which happens to be called the truth.
It's harder than ever to get the truth out of people that want to not be part of the narrative because they're worried about their spot. Can I get a job? Will I find if I say the right things, can I get hired somewhere? And we are now 14 episodes in, and Todd firmly believes in speaking his truth, the truth, and nothing but that truth. And I think that's where the refreshing aspect of Todd is. He's not angling for a job. He has real opinions to say things. And again, I know we're talking like we're eulogizing him because he's not in the room, but sometimes things have to be said for him to make sure that he knows where his legacy and the credit he deserves in this business is. We're not doing this without ECW, and we're not doing it without him.
Todd, and correct me if I'm wrong. I'm going to do a little Sigmund Freud on you here. Todd is always concerned with being seen in a role where he's putting himself over. I think that was part of his reticence to call it Todd is God. It was part of his reticence to write the book. And it's something he kept saying to me was it sounds like I put myself over. It sounds like I put myself. But if you're writing the truth, if Magellan were to write about the journey, and the comparisons continue between you and Magellan, clearly. So you may
There's
have
a narrative here.
You may only have them by about 5 years, but so you're not putting yourself over if it happens to be the truth. And I think, Todd, you were a little bit of your own worst enemy, because there's somebody else I know who was working beside you for a lot of these innovative decisions, who was not as concerned with being humble, that it's worked to their benefit. Whereas maybe, I mean, you're happy, healthy, you have a lovely family, a great business, not that you're missing anything, but maybe the Tod Gordon story might have been a little different if you had blown your own horn. You've been double jointed and were able to do that.
Well, next week, my guests are Hat Guy and Mop Boy. We're never going to run out of guests.
Okay. There's a non sequitur, but sure. But you understand? Did you hear any of what I said?
I know, it's called deflection.
Yeah, but I want you to be honest for a minute here. I want to, if I may, for a moment, take over the interview. I think that you admit that to your, maybe by your own hand, well-intentioned because of the putting yourself over thing, somebody else was allowed to bubble to the surface.
Yes, and you're the one who talked me into telling my story.
Yeah.
I said, it's been 25 years. It's done. I've learned to accept it and live with it. And you said, well, I'm just learning about it. I don't accept it. I don't want to live with it. I'm asking you to tell your story.
Yeah.
You're
correct.
Huge. You're huge to me, Sean. You still are. And talking about a family, this guy's got a family that's going to be on TV, in theater, in movies forever. He's got two of the most talented daughters. Raise my hand to God you've ever seen in your life, whether it's plays, whether it's show, whatever they're doing. He sends me the clips, and they are legitimately amazing as kids. I can't imagine them as adults.
That's a testament to the genetics of my wife and I. But yeah,
it was very lovely.
Yes, but look at us lathering ourselves here, Todd. And see, it's almost worse when you have two friends on, because you don't have the friction and strife that you can cut up like Maven and put on with a bunch of baiting titles and get 200,000 clicks. I'm going to confront this guy after not seeing him for 5 years, and then they have a cup of coffee.
Well, I thought he and PJ was really intriguing.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think I missed out on a PJ booking. I think I fell victim to that. There was no money exchange, but he was scheduled for a U shoot, and it didn't happen. I think there was a scheduling problem.
You paid him up front, didn't you?
Nope. Did that one time.
Once.
Conan.
Are you shocked to see Conan in the spot he is in right now?
What spot is that?
I was going to say, what spot is that?
Commentary. WWE getting blown by AAA.
Oh, the AAA gimmick. Yeah. No, I mean, people... Look, I've told my story about Conan. He endlessly... I think they dropped a sponsor. That my face appeared on with Kevin's. I swear to God, I talked to the if it's just a coincidence, then I retract everything. I'm man enough to do that. But they were advertising this company, and then when this line came out with me on it, they dropped it from the show. Now, listen, the reason I wanted Conan on is because I thought he had something to say. It was a guest booker. It was going to be a great one about lucha. We hadn't covered it at all. I wanted to obviously do it for obvious reasons that he had an effect on the business, and he turned out to be to be a typical wrestler with the. I hate to say that because I've dealt with so many wrestlers that were really great, but. I understood the promoter's strife suddenly.
Was he the worst you've ever dealt with?
No, that was a purse snatch.
Go to the book. Go to your book. Who was the worst? The book. From your book.
Well, I told the Buff Bagwell story.
Not here.
Get a whole new audience here, Sean.
It's the introduction of the. I just figured it's lore already, and Buff shows up. All right, so we're gonna do a timeline, the history of WCW with Buff. Shows up. We're in Queens, New York, and he's there. I'm talking to him. He's cogent and together. And I had to shoot Lanny Poffo first. So I said, I got to do Lanny's show, then we'll do turnaround on the set, relight it, probably be ready for you around 10 o'clock. He said, all right, I'll probably grab a bite to eat. So time goes on. I'm shooting him some texts like, hey, blah, 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 here and there. So eventually nothing's getting returned. And it's time to pick him up, and he's unresponsive with the phone. So I send my guys over. I said, listen, he's at the hotel. There was a convention in town. A lot of the boys are probably there. Go get him. So I send Brian and Craig from my crew to go find him. I get a call. Now I'm waiting. I'm tinkering. I'm pacing. I hate being on the set waiting to shoot because I start to like fuck with the lights and like I
OCD.
So in my nerves, I start to do this. So then I get a call from Brian. Anthony gets the call. He picks up. He goes, it's Brian. They have him.
Yeah.
Not he's with them.
That's a
they
bad
have
phrase.
him.
Yeah.
I take the phone. I say, Brian, scale of 1 to 10. How bad? He says, 11. I said, okay. So they're looking for him over there. In an amazing reversal of fortune, a sober Jake the Snake sees my crew and offers to help get Buff back on track for the gig. So I said, just drive him back here. We'll deal with it. I've worked with wrestlers that they have the performer's gene, I call it, in that no matter what's going on, what kind of chaos, maybe it's a condition, maybe it's external, maybe it's, pinning Eric Sims against the wall by the throat. When the light comes on, they're fine. So I'm counting on a little bit of that performer's gene living in Mark Bagwell. I go down to the lobby of the LaGuardia Hotel, massive lobby, and clear across the lobby, 50 yards, is the door to the parking garage, which opens. And Brian and Craig, who were bigger, heavily tattooed, bearded, biker types, each have an arm around Buff in the middle and are dragging him. Feet down, being dragged. It looked, what I wrote in the book, and you got Buff, who's all, I said it looked like Spartacus owed money to the Sons of Anarchy, is exactly what that scene looked like. So he sees me walking towards him. We'd never met, but who's the only douchebag in a suit in the LaGuardia Hotel lobby at 11 at night here? So he sees me coming, so he assumes, I guess, that it's me. So I see him like push the guys off and make a half-hearted attempt to stand to greet me. I said, Mark, let's sit down. I said, we don't have to do this. He's like, no, man, I'm good. Let's go upstairs. So now I'm hoping that the 4-minute walk upstairs is enough to get him back on track. We sit down on camera, lights, we're rolling. First question I ask, and what comes out of his mouth, I could not sell to anybody paying money, nor would I have wanted his probation officer to see this. I stop, I say, Mark, I lean over, out of earshot, though it is on mic, and we don't cut the camera. That was our one rule at Kayfabe, never cut the camera. Don't know when I'm going to need this. I said, Mark, listen, we'll do this another time. I don't want this. You don't want this. No, I'm good. I'm going to kick out. Now, I love when people use wrestling terminology in situations that are not wrestling related. He's going to kick out. So he stands up, he goes against the wall, and he puts his head on the wall. And he begins to stay in some trance-like state. Now, it's so strange that I think maybe this is going to work. Maybe this is something that the boys have done before the tapings at the center stage when they're too zooted to get them on track. So I wait, and we give him a requisite 10 minutes of kicking out in silence. Very awkward. Everyone on the set watching a man with his head against the wall kicking out, hoping we can get video of this. He sits down, we roll, same question, the drool fest begins again, and it's unintelligible and not usable. He makes Todd sound like James Earl Jones at this point. So I say, Mark, I can't do it. Here's a few $100. Thank you for trying. Let's consider this a deposit for the next time you come out. Same script. I want this show. He gets upset. There is a real moment, and he was disappointed in himself and upset. And I said, don't worry about it. We'll get it, man. I'm not judging you. My crew picks him up, drags him out. His fanny pack sounds like there's a tic-tac factory in it. Yeah. So he calls me the next morning. Hey, brother, I'm really sorry, man, and I hope you were honest about that, and that I can come back out and finish this up. I said, absolutely, man. 6 months later, I see he's going to be in Jersey. I call him. I say, hey, Mark, I saw you're going to be here. Let's do this. He goes, no, I've got some other things going on, doing a documentary series about me and my family. I'm not going to do an interview for that money you offered me last time. I said, and I can't believe I said this to a man far larger than I on the phone. I don't think you remember who Todd's checking the time. We've been on about an hour and 10 minutes. I don't know if you know who you're talking to, but I'm the fucking guy that put $200 in your hand when you were drooling all over the place and couldn't. And he said, well, I will be in Jersey and you be there too, so I could punch your fucking teeth down your throat. And he hung up. And in that moment, standing on my porch looking at the phone, I felt everything Vince McMahon Sr. felt, everything Bill Watts ever felt, everything Tod Gordon maybe felt. He had a nice locker room. In those moments where I could not understand the mind of the wrestler. It was a species I thought I'd navigated very well in business and was confounded. So that's the opening of my book. However, this year, I get a call from a Georgia number. I answer it.
No
Sean,
way.
Yes, Mark Bagwell. I said, well, this is a call I've been waiting for 10 years. I guess you read. He apologized. I recounted the story. We had a very good laugh. And it was so refreshing for me. It's one of the only pieces of unfinished business I have in the industry. And it took a long time, but he called and made it right. And I'm all good with Mark. Unfortunately, he underwent a surgery recently with his leg, which was tragic. But just him. Had some weirdness with Jesus Christ, his name, with somebody else who shook my hand upon seeing me and said, I never like having bad feelings with anyone in this business. I said, great, thank you. So actually, Conan's the only outstanding. I'm fine. He needs to work it. I'm fine.
I think that's great that Buff reached out, and it's a hell of an epilogue to have that closure, and to see where he's at now is quite the journey for him. But have you checked in on Todd in the right-hand corner?
Yes, and welcome to another episode of Sean Needs a Podcast. He doesn't need a Kevin Nash podcast. He doesn't need a Tod Gordon podcast. This motherfucker needs a podcast of his own. He's so entertaining. I'm sitting here watching like I'm watching TV. He's making it hilarious. I can love listening to him.
Well, I have.
No matter how much you can understand me or not understand me, a prick.
You're doing better. You've gone to a speech coach. I or whatever. Got the testicles out of your mouth, and you're smoking less. Are you smoking still?
Are you watching the fucking interview tonight?
I'm not.
Yes.
I didn't say vaping. I said smoking.
Again, you've been watching the show you're on right now?
No, I don't think you smoked. I don't think you lit a cigarette on
Not
this
a
one.
cigarette.
I bet you guys both, whatever you want, if you go back and rewind, you'll both say, fuck.
All right, I'll check.
Another bet that Todd has God won. Just saying.
Sean, what can we promote for you tonight?
This is it.
This is it. It's an hour.
Part one.
Feels like the opening
Part
match.
one.
This is unbelievable.
I know you
All
have
right,
8 million stories to tell.
Give me.
I'll have you on again with Hat Guy.
I need. I need now. Where will this place in your listenership? I have to see here. Now, who have been your guests so far? You did a 7-part series with Bill Alfonso. I know. The first 4 covering refereeing in Florida, for God's sakes. I like his teeth, though. You did Franny, right?
We've done Fonzie, Franny. We did. Oh my God,
Raven.
We did Raven 2 weeks ago. There's
that couldn't have wrapped in an hour. There's
Raven
no way you got Scotty in an hour.
Scotty was done in 30 minutes.
He said, "Okay, guys, so this has been fun." So
he wrapped us.
He asked him a question. He goes, "No, you didn't understand." I said, "This has really been fun. That means I'm done. I want to get out of here. Let me leave."
Unbelievable.
Yeah, he's. I feel like we've done one more guest, but maybe not.
You've been on for 7 months. What? These are 3 people.
It's not 7 months. It's been 3.
And everybody asked me why we're not listing our episodes 1, 2, like number 5.
Don't put numbers.
Well, I want numbers. I want numbers.
People
in
have.
order to watch
let me tell you something. People have a collector's mentality. People liked lining those timeline DVDs on the shelf and seeing TW1, TW2, TW3. It's a collector's mentality, and they
I would have seen all of Todd's pods, 1, 2 listed, 1, 2, 3, 4. So people can watch them in order if they want to.
I will outperform Fonzie.
Oh yeah.
I have to do my predictions here.
Only after he shows clips.
Not Francine, probably. Little Guido? Who was the third one?
We didn't do Nunzio yet.
No.
It was. I think it's only been Raven. We had Fonzie 4 times.
I may outperform Raven, not on an IQ test, but on viewership here.
Menza.
Yeah.
He wore a Mensa shirt.
He did.
Did he? Oh, that's such a pop. I love him.
He did it for you. I did it for you, Todd, sir.
I didn't even get to tell all my Scotty stories. Well, the first time I booked him was for guest booker. And we sit down and I give him the release. And he sits down to sign it. And he begins to make amendments. It's a standard fucking release for a shoot interview to be able. There's crossing out and initialing happening between the two of us because that's his thing. I'm just gonna make a little change right here. You don't mind if I make this a little, just right here, just so it reads a little better. And he actually says as he's signing it, he looks up at me. He goes, you have a really deep voice on the phone. I didn't know you were gonna look like this. I would have asked you for more money. And he signs it and he gives it back to me.
All right, I'll ask this question. Is there someone you haven't talked to that you want to talk to? Do you miss that?
That's a great question, Derek.
No, because it's all done like this right now, Derek. And this when you're sitting in a space with somebody, a foot apart, there's an energy.
Smaller in Hornswoggle's place, but yes.
Yeah, but that was a downward projection. Although his ass is massive, it lifts him. When I was in the car next to Dylan, he was at eye level with me because of the size of his puffy, juicy ass. So there's an energy that you share with somebody, and it's people ask me all the time. I guess I am putting myself over. They say, I don't know, charisma, or why do people open up to you? Or whatever. And I say, I don't know. If I have a superpower, it's that I can sit across from someone and talk to them and pretty quickly have them understand that I'm going to lead them safely in this dance.
Yeah.
And it doesn't happen when it's coming through the screen, these little blocks. There's something lost. There's a danger to sitting so close to somebody like that. All that is real. And it's caught on camera when I sat with someone and flew them in and sat with them. I don't enjoy doing it this way because that's gone. That intimacy in the same room is gone. And I think I much like Samson, my hair was cut when everybody went to Zoom.
Yeah.
So Nowadays, I wouldn't want to talk to anybody. But if back in the day when I could sit with someone, sure, there are people that I didn't get that I regretted. How could I have a series called Guest Booker that seeks to profile all the most creative minds in wrestling and not have had Dusty Rhodes on it, not have had Pat Patterson on it?
Yeah.
There are glaring omissions to that series, and it was because they died. Pat Patterson, I courted for a while, no jokes. I sent Harry and David fruit baskets to his house in Florida with copies of the DVD, hoping that he'd do it. When I finally got to talk to him about it, and he was free from Connecticut, his book was coming out, and he had to do press for the book, and he couldn't do this, and then he passed away, sadly.
You asked me to do Guest Booker.
Yeah, it's the only series. There are very few people, you're one of them, who could have done almost all of our series.
I agree with that.
We had a saying in the company, right guest, right show. That was what worked well for Kayfabe Commentaries. Now, there were times we had the right guest, wrong show. We didn't profile them the right way because they shouldn't have been on You Shoot because they weren't witty enough or they weren't, But there were some people who actually booked so they could be on Guest Booker. People who did the whole horn for us, like Cornette and Nash.
Raven.
Raven was a fantasy booking because he hadn't booked for a major federation. But for that episode, we said he's always credited with having one of the greatest minds. What if we put him in that seat and watched him do it?
Yeah.
And he did it until he got too tired and hungry to continue the shoot. I'd bought him a prime rib dinner beforehand downstairs, and throughout the whole thing, I don't know if I edited it out or it was left, and he's like, I'm just getting a little weak because I'm hungry, and they won't get me any food here. And eventually we had to send down for pie for him, and they didn't have the pie he wanted, so his body completely shut down. But was asked to be driven to a Wawa by my crew while we were breaking down, and he returned with, I swear on my kids, 4 shopping bags filled with cereal boxes. He was leaving at 8 o'clock the next morning on a flight. It was about midnight. I don't know what happened in there. I don't know if it was shades of the Travel Lodge, but something went on.
Here's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing Raven got a dinner. I'm hearing Tully got a dinner. I didn't even get a lunch. I'm just saying.
You were an easy mark. I didn't need to prime you with food.
When I did his first one, the first time I did a shoot with him, again, I was, I don't know him, so I'm on guard. I have the suit and tie, and you can just see watching it. I'm very keeping him at a distance.
Most terrifying about him are his gimmicks, like the glasses that separate with a magnet. That's scary to anyone who's not used to that.
It's terrifying.
It was very off-putting.
Halfway through the interview, Jack gets off, and I'm just kibitzing with this guy. And I went, how did he do that? He totally disarmed me and got me comfortable to the point where I felt I was hanging out with somebody I knew. I've told him during the course of the book, and I've said this I've said it to no one else ever. He could have been part of the posse. I told you that, remember?
Yeah.
I never said
that as a compliment. Many people...
It was a compliment. I've never said that to anybody else ever.
Well, I appreciate that, and
he made it very comfortable. I'll never forget his crew when he's asking me some kind of goofy question like he always does in the other one about the people.
How big is Batista's dick?
I'm standing behind him and going like this one. And his crew is dying and he can't see me. And it was just I just felt this give and take. I said, yeah, he and I can do a show together and it would be hilarious.
Well, let's make sure that we don't forget that Todd is God, and Todd is God is available right now on Amazon, all your favorite bookstores, on Todd's social media. You can catch Sean every week that Kevin wants to record on Click This and ClickThis.tv. Books.
Show them your book again.
Show them the book. Book is coming out in September. Not that one.
I love this motherfucker.
The one that's under his camera. No,
love him. Come on.
Monkey Morales, available.
6 years. 6 years. True story.
Tell them what it's about. The fuck?
Yeah, well, it's one of those things. Like,
don't just show them the encyclopedia, for God's sake.
If you are into true stories of espionage and Ricardo Morales, the monkey, was an officer in Fidel Castro's G2 secret police. He killed his partner to escape and get to the United States away from Fidel and crew. Fell into the waiting arms of the CIA, who trained him and 1,500 other Cuban exiles to go back into Cuba to kill Fidel Castro, which obviously didn't happen, but he did plenty of work for the CIA over the years, then was implanted by them to be the one of the heads of Venezuela's intelligence unit. Then he left that, became an informant for the FBI, conducted some bombings was one of the most prolific Cuban bombers in Miami, bombing pro-Cuban interests in the 60s and 70s. And then what industry did all these Cuban men land in when they were discarded by the CIA, FBI, and everybody else, but trained by the CIA to have these skills in Miami in the late 70s? If you saw Scarface, you know the answer. So then began to work for some of the drug kingpins, and was assassinated in 1982 in a bar fight. But we fully explore all of what that bar fight really could have been, as agencies in this country and all over the world would have wanted him quiet.
And personally, Sean, I think that description will probably sell more books and get more interest than you just showing Encyclopedia Britannica M.
SeanOliverbooks.com. Follow Sean on X or whatever it's called now, at Kayfabe Sean. He's at ECW Tod Gordon. I'm at Derek Sabato. We're out of time here on Todd is Pod. We will have the Extreme Cocktail Hour. Salute. We will have Sean back on again. We will make sure that we make fun of Todd throughout the whole hour.
Did I earn a volume 2? I earned a volume 2.
You earned a volume 2.
I didn't even talk about when I refereed the Lex Luger match when he left the cage when Brody was in there.
That's right, Billy. We will have Sean back eventually again. Next week, though, I'm going to get Todd to finally talk about the NWA title tournament where Shane Douglas threw down the title and they fucked over Dennis Carluzzo in the NWA. We will get to that episode. Maybe we'll have Shane on. Maybe we'll have internet. We'll see. But we'll see you here next week on podcasteatwrestling.com. Todd is Pod.
Spay and neuter your pets.